call the meeting to order. City Council meet on Wednesday, December 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. to hold its regular meeting for the purpose of discussing any and all business, including the public hearing for the fiscal year 2022 tax rate business via remote participation in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the city's website at salem.com. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we'll post on the city's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch, listen, or provide comment, if applicable during the meeting, may do so by following the link as provided on the agenda. You can also go to the link, zoom.us/join, and enter the meeting webinar ID 848-0712-7734, followed by the meeting password as provided on the agenda. By phone, you can dial in toll-free number at 877-853-5257 or 888-475-4499. And when prompted, enter the meeting webinar ID 848-0712-7734 and follow the instructions to join the meeting. For those dialing in, you may press *9 to raise your hand to speak if signed up for public testimony or to participate in the public hearing portion of the agenda if applicable. The meeting is being broadcast live on SATV channel 22 as well as Facebook. Members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items must follow how to sign up for public testimony as outlined in the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak during hearings designated as public hearings may do so by following how to participate as I noted previously. Regular meeting of the City Council being held remotely on Wednesday, December 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business, including the public hearing for the fiscal year 2022 tax rate. Notice of this meeting was posted on November 29th, 2021 at 2:29 p.m. The public hearing ad was posted in the Salem News on November 17, 2021 and November 24, 2021. This meeting is being recorded and live on SATV and Facebook. Councilors absent, none. Council President Maduro presided. Councilor Dominguez moved to dispense with the reading of the record of a previous meeting. All those in favor? 11 hands. All those opposed? Matter carries. President Maduro requests that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilor Turiel.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of
America,
to the republic
which stands
one nation,
one nation,
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Public testimony, we have nobody signed up for public testimony tonight. We will proceed to hearings.
The public hearing on the issue of allocating the local property tax levy among the 4 property classes for the fiscal year 2022 and the residential open space and small commercial exemption options.
Present with us tonight, we have our Assessor Stephen Cortez and Board of Assessors, Mr. Jim Bond, and Mr. Richard Jagolta, and I'm missing one person's name because
Tina Zolano.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Board member Tina Zolano. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Tina Zolano, Ms. Tina Zolano, and also with us we have our Finance Director, Anna Friedman. Did I miss anybody? No. Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to turn this over to the Director of Assessor and the Board of Assessor for discussion and presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, council members. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
City of Salem, okay. All right, first, let me briefly introduce myself to those who might not know me. My name is Stephen Cortez. I've been an assessor here in the city of Salem since 2012 and the acting director of assessing since May. Before that, I was an assistant assessor in the city of Worcester. And prior to that, I worked in their collectors department and was a real estate agent on the side. Logging on tonight for the Board of Assessors is Rich Dragolta and Tina Zolano. Also on is Assistant Assessor Jim Bond. I would like to give a quick thank you to my office staff, to Linda Delafano, Gloria Felix, and my predecessor, Deb Jackson, who most of you know retired last year, but has been a tremendous help with this transition and keeping the assessing department running smoothly. So there's a lot of content in this packet. So I will direct you to the most important pieces as we go through, though hopefully the additional context is helpful.
Excuse me.
The purpose of the classification hearing is to provide information to the City Council in order for them to make policy decisions in accordance with the requirements of Chapter 40, Section 56 of Mass General Laws, as amended by Chapter 20 of Acts 1988. There is an excerpt which lays out that cities and towns may elect to shift the tax burden among the major property classes with certain limits established by law. The residential factor governs the percentage of the tax levy to be paid by the residential class. The difference is then shifted to the commercial, industrial, personal property, or CIP. The minimum residential factor established by the Commissioner of the Revenue is used to make certain that the shift of the tax burden complies with the Classification Act. It is recommended that the City Council adopts a minimum residential factor of 0.856113 for the City of Salem for fiscal year 2022. The council must also vote on 3 other items: open space discount, residential exemption, and a small commercial exemption. This year was an interim certification year, and the assessments have been updated and approved by the Department of Revenue. The values were established by analyzing calendar year 2020 sales, income and expense data, and the personal property form of list. The statistical data presented here is intended to assist City Council in its recommended decisions. Here are some key terms. The levy. The property tax levy is the revenue a community can raise through real and personal property tax. Levy limit. The maximum amount a community can levy in a given year, equal to last year's levy plus 2.5% plus new growth plus debt exclusion and override if applicable. Levy ceiling. Equal to 2.5% of the total full and fair cash value of all taxable real and personal property in the community. New growth, increase in the tax base due to construction, parcel subdivisions, condo conversions, and property renovations, but not due to revaluation. It is calculated by multiplying the increased assessed value by the prior year's tax rate for the property class. And then excess levy capacity, the difference between the actual levy and the levy limit. The first pie chart on the left shows the breakdown of the city's parcel by the major property classes as a percent. Residential makes up the majority with 88.62%, followed by personal property with 5.72%, commercial at 4.92%, and industrial at 0.74%. The chart on the right represents a breakdown of all real property, which does not include personal property, and shows a more in-depth view of the residential class, which single families at 5,007 parcels make up the majority at 38%, followed by residential condos with 4,542 parcels and 34%. The remainder being 2 families at 11%, commercial at 5%, 3 families at 4%, apartments over 4 units at 3%, land and mixed use at 2%, and industrial at 1%. The fiscal year 2022 values are based on the value of property as of January 1st, 2021, and were primarily developed from sales from calendar year 2020, commercial, industrial income and expense forms, and personal property form of lists. Under the guidelines of the Department of Revenue and Massachusetts General Laws, assessors are required to assess property at 100% full and fair cash valuation. This means all assessed values must reflect the market i.e. what properties are selling for. Sales in calendar year 2020, which are used to determine fiscal year 2022 values. There were 803 sales utilized, including 2 years of sales for multi-commercial, industrial, and land. 268 single-family sales, 421 condominium, 90 multifamily, 19 commercial and industrial, and 5 other sales, which were mixed use and land, et cetera. The market analysis resulted in the following general adjustments made. Single-family properties increased in value by 6.2%. Condominium properties increased in value by 9.5%. Two-family properties increased in value by 8.8%. Three-family properties increased in value by 7.9%. Apartments with 48 units and large apartment complexes increased by 15.1%. Personal property accounts increased in value by 3.2%. And commercial properties increased in value by 3%. In general, for the residential, it's a pretty tight range. And it's also important to note that those are overall statistical values for each major property class. Individual value changes will vary depending on the specific property data, the style, condition, location, amenities, etc. Overall, the city saw an increase in total value of $509,818,402, or 7.7%. This table is a comparison of last year's values, fiscal year 21 versus fiscal year 22. These values and the changes represent the entire class, not individual parcels. Highlighted in yellow are the major classes with columns 3, 4, 5, and 6 representing the parcel count and assessed values, and the last 4 columns showing the difference between them. As shown in the last slide, the percentage difference in value is identified all the way to the right. At the bottom, shaded in blue, are the major classes as a whole, with the total residential value going up 8.5%, total commercial value going up 3.1%, total industrial up 6.3%, total personal property up 3.2%, and again, the overall value for the city went up 7.7%. This table shows the fiscal year 22 values by class. The residential total value is $5,904,892,027. The commercial assessed value total is $611,299,183. The total industrial class value is $343,903,330. And the personal property total assessed value is $258,562,250. This gives the city a total taxable value of $7,118,656,790. Here's another fiscal year comparable display of fiscal year 21 versus fiscal year 22. The residential class makes up 82.95% of the total city value. Commercial makes up 8.59%. Industrial makes up 4.83%. And personal property, 3.63%. Again, the value difference from last year is 7.71, or $509,818,402. Bar graph at the bottom shows a healthy and sustained change in value over the past years. 2020 was higher due to the power plant coming online. Here's a line graph showing the assessed value history from 94 to 22. You can see the dip with the recession that happened and the rebound after that affected the residential values. Throughout the year, the assessing department reviews and captures new growth value, due mostly to new construction, as well as parcels subject to taxation for the first time, subdivisions or condominium conversions, new personal property, and parcels that were previously exempt. It does not include value increases caused by normal market forces or revaluation. New growth is submitted to the Department of Revenue for review and certification. The city of Salem saw a total of $123,059,271 in new growth value that included but was not limited to 25 new single-family homes, 78 new condo conversions, 6 exempt properties now taxable, large construction projects, which include 65 Washington Street Bricks Building, 217 Essex Street, Essex Lofts, 20 new apartments, 72 Flint Street, the Halstead Apartments, which is 130 apartment units, 20 Colonial Road, which is the Amazon warehouse, 142 and 136 Canal Street, 2 new residential and mixed-use buildings respectively with 52 apartments total, and the completion of the Hampton Inn, which is a mixed-use hotel apartment building. And ongoing construction such as 45 Traders Way and 41st Street, which is 225 apartment units, and 11 Goodhue Street, 5 townhouse-style residences, to name a few. The approved new growth value resulted in $2,053,113 in allowable tax levy growth. This amount is used in calculating the tax limit, the levy limit for fiscal year 2022. And this is just a sample of the mentioned properties, with 72 Flint Street having a growth of $8,258,900, 217 Essex Street with a growth value of $2,154,795, 20 Colonial Road, $2,253,440, and 65 Washington Street, $11,922,500 in growth value. Here's the fiscal year 22 new growth broken down into class and tax dollars. First is the residential breakdown, showing the new growth value, the tax dollars from that growth, and the percentage that makes up of the residential class. Single family made up 19.11% of the residential growth. Condos made up 16.80%. 2 and 3 family properties, 4.61. Other mixed use and vacant residential made up 0.54 and 0.0092 respectively. Residential growth in tax dollars comes to $1,343,323. Commercial tax dollars from growth is $224,318. Industrial tax dollars from growth is $47,789, and personal property tax dollars from growth is $437,683. Again, the percentages for the CIP class is shown to the right of the tax dollars, and below that is the total overall new growth value and the tax dollars of $2,053,113. This bar graph represents growth in tax dollars over the years, starting from 2012. Again, year 2020 was higher due to the power plant construction. Determining the tax levy and a breakdown of the city budget. First, we start with the total budget and other articles approved by City Council, which is $191,199,145. Then you minus the state aid, local receipts, enterprise and CPA funds, and other revenues that will leave you with an amount remaining to be collected from property taxes, the tax levy, which is $110,173,970. The pie chart to the right shows each as a percentage of the total budget. This slide explains the levy limit. Proposition 2.5 limits the amount of revenue a community can raise through real and personal property taxes, tax levy, from year to year. The maximum amount a community can levy in any given year is called the levy limit. Under Proposition 2.5, a community's levy limit increases automatically by 2 factors. one, an incremental increase of 2.5% of the prior year's levy limit, and two, a dollar amount derived from the value of new construction and other growth in the local tax base since the previous year, which is the new growth. A community can also assess additional taxes to pay the debt service, principal and interest costs for a specific capital project, example, a new school. This additional amount, debt exclusion, is added to the levy limit for the life of the debt. The combined total is referred to as the maximum allowable levy. Maximum allowable levy for FY 2022 is $116,782,246. The estimate levy for fiscal year 22 will be $110,173,970. This leaves an excess levy capacity of $6,608,276. This is the difference between the maximum property tax revenue a community is legally permitted to bill and the tax bills paid. To the left is the calculations. The City Council is here to take a vote on the following. Selection of residential factor recommended at 0.856113, which is the 1.7 CIP shift, open space discount, residential exemption, and the small commercial exemption. Starting with the minimum residential factor, the City Council must vote to determine the percentage of tax levy to be paid by each class of real property and personal property for the fiscal year. In determining these percentages, the council must first adopt a residential factor that must be an amount not less than the minimum residential factor, or MRF, calculated by the Commissioner of Revenue. The residential factor adopted governs the percentage of tax levy to be borne by residential property owners. It does not change the total tax levy. An MRF of 1 would yield a single tax rate. This is calculated by the tax levy divided by the total value times 1,000 equals the tax rate. For fiscal year 22, a single tax rate would be $15.47 for all classes. Historically, Salem has adopted a split tax rate, one for residential open space and another for commercial industrial personal property, CIP. It is recommended that the City Council adopt a minimum residential factor of 0.856113 for the City of Salem for fiscal year 2022. This line graph is of Salem's historic tax rates from 1986 to 2021. They are historical and not adjusted for inflation. For fiscal year 22, the average single-family home value is $465,540, with an average bill increase of $97 from last year. 39% of Salem single-family homes are assessed above the average, and 61% of Salem single-family homes are assessed below the average. For fiscal year 22, the average residential condo value is $350,070, with an increase of $148 from last year. 47% of Salem's residential condos are assessed above the average, and 53% of Salem's residential condos are assessed below the average. The average single-family bill will increase $97, or roughly $8.08 per month, and the average residential condo will increase $148, or roughly $12.33 per month. Again, single-family and residential condo units make up 80% of all residential units in the city. Here is the average single-family tax bill increase for surrounding municipalities. Swampscott average single-family bill will increase by $80. Again, Salem's average single-family bill will increase by $97. Ipswich average single-family tax bill will go up $208. Gloucester's average single-family tax bill will increase $275. And Marblehead's average single-family tax bill will increase $506. As of now, PBD, Danvers, Beverly, and Lynn have not had their classification hearings. The average two-family value is $542,097 with an increase of $350 from last year. 39% of Salem's two-family homes are assessed above the average and 61% are assessed below the average. The average three-family value for fiscal year 22 is $622,307, which is an increase of $377. 42% of Salem's three-family homes are assessed above the average, and 58% of Salem's three-family homes are assessed below the average. The average commercial property value is $771,342 with an average tax bill of $20,294. They have a decrease in tax bill from last year of $167. Mostly this is due to the COVID effects. 25% of Salem's commercial properties are assessed above the average, and 75% of Salem's commercial properties are assessed below the average. What does it mean to adopt the residential factor? Here's the shift for the major classes. Residential class will warrant 71.01% of the share, 14.60% for commercial properties, 8.21% industrial properties, and 6.18% by the personal property class. Assuming the recommended 1.7 CIP shift or 0.856113 minimum residential factor, the residential tax rate will go down to $13.25, and the commercial tax rate will go down to $26.31. The total residential value times $13.25 tax rate and the total CIP value times the $26.31 commercial tax rate gives us the FY22 levy. Additional tax rate options may also be adopted by communities that have been certified as assessing at full fair cash value by the Department of Revenue. Open space discount, residential exemption, and small commercial exemption. The choice of either or both of the first two affects whether a community chooses to shift the tax burden within the residential class. The third option affects the tax rate within the commercial and the industrial classes. The following pages provide relevant information and data for each option. The Board of Assessors has determined that these options do not pertain to Salem, and such options should not be considered by the City Council. Open space is defined in Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 2A as land which is not otherwise classified and which is not taxable under the provisions of Chapter 61, 61A, 61B, or taxable under a permanent conservation restriction, and which land is not held for the production of income, but is maintained in an open or natural condition and which contributes significantly to the benefit and enjoyment of the public. An exemption of up to 25% could be adopted for property class 2 open space. Currently, there are no communities in Massachusetts that grant an open space discount, and Salem has no parcels in class 2 open space. Residential exemption. The residential exemption reduces the taxable valuation of each residential parcel that is a taxpayer's principal residence. Granting this exemption raises the residential tax rate and shifts the residential tax burden from low value and other owner-occupied homes to higher value and non-owner occupied homes. An individual who's granted this exemption could still end up paying more due to the valuation threshold and a higher residential tax rate. This exemption provides for a redistribution of the tax levy among residential property owners only within residential class 1 and would not affect commercial properties in any way. Adoption of a residential exemption is of benefit only in those communities that have substantial number of non-primary residences. Only 15 out of 351 communities in the Commonwealth adopted a residential exemption in FY21. Cities and towns that utilize this tax option generally have a large percentage of rental units, Boston, Brookline, Cambridge, etc., or large amount of seasonal tourist housing, Nantucket, Provincetown, Tisbury, etc. Analysis into this exemption does not yield an advantageous benefit for the City of Salem. Most of the improved residential parcels are the principal residences of the taxpayer on record, Therefore, there is little or no benefit in adopting a residential exemption, one in which Salem has never adopted. This program is also very costly to implement and maintain. On the right side, you can see communities that have adopted. Small commercial exemption. An exemption of up to 10% of the property valuation may be adopted for eligible commercial properties. Granting this exemption raises the commercial tax rate and shifts commercial tax burden from qualifying properties to ineligible commercial properties. This is a shift only in the commercial class and does not affect the residential properties in any way. The guidelines must be occupied as of January 1st by a business with an average annual employment of no more than 10 employees at all locations during the previous calendar year as certified by the Department of Employment and Training. Building value cannot exceed $1 million. If property has more than one business, a strip mall, for instance, each business must have fewer than 10 employees for the exemption to be granted. All would have to qualify. Exemption is granted to the owner of the real estate, the building owner, not the business owner or the renter, as the law does not require the tax relief to be passed through to the business owner. Reasons against adopting this exemption: most businesses in the city of Salem rent or lease their workspace. Exemptions will shift a greater burden onto the higher value properties who already pay a large portion of the total tax levy, 14%. This exemption is applicable in those communities that have a substantial commercial industrial base with a sufficient number of large employers. Less than a dozen municipalities out of 351 communities in the Commonwealth have adopted this exemption. Again, on the right-hand side, we can see the communities that have. That is the end of my presentation. I thank you so much. And I will start my video and stop sharing.
Thank you. I just learned that Mayor Driscoll is unable to log in because she's at a remote location out of state. So she won't be joining us tonight. And with that, if there are members of the public who would wish to speak in favor or opposition of the residential tax rate and the exemptions, any property tax rate or any exemptions, please raise your hand or dial *9 if you're on the phone. It will allow you to speak. Going once, going twice, seeing none. Any members of the council who would like to offer comment? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to thank Stephen and his team for their presentation. I've attended many of these over the years, and Stephen, you did a real nice job in your interim status. Like the pie charts are a little different this year, you know, where you get used to the same presentation all the time. You mixed it up a little bit. You did a really nice job. There's a lot of information in there for any member of the public that really wants to dive into it. I also want to take just a brief second to recognize the councilor-elects that are in the participants joining us tonight to watch this, to get a handle on what they're getting into next year. So I want to congratulate them on their election and thank them for showing up as well. Stephen, I guess the big question is, we're leaving $6 million to the levy, $6 million and change. We had $2 million of new growth.
Councilor, is that a question?
2 million and change. So with the I guess with the new growth we were able to offset the without the new growth, with the amount that we would have left to the levy would have been potentially $2 million less. $2 million less. How would that translate out into an extra $2 million that we'd have to generate from property taxes, the biggest burden of which would be on residential? How would that potentially affect the average tax bill? An additional $2 million.
So with the new growth value, that allows you to raise more. So without that, you would it would have to be just on the Prop 2.5.
Right.
So it would put a burden on pretty much all of the classes to fill that.
So, I mean, I just round numbers. So if we have $2 million and you're talking if all the residential units, how many single family homes were there? 5,000.
5,007.
And then there's 4,000 condos. So that's 9,000. So the 2 million divided by 9,000 would be the number, I guess. I'm doing it in my head. So whatever that number is, that's potentially what the additional, I mean, obviously round numbers.
Right. Anna, do you want to?
Sure, Counselor might be able to help. I can run that for us really quickly. But we didn't run exactly for the scenario that you are inquiring about, but we did run it for if we did not use, as we're recommending to mitigate the increase, $1 million in free cash, as well as some receipts reserved from some other funds that the city has that we typically use to mitigate the tax increases. And those two sources combined total about 2.3 million. So it's around the same amount of money. So about this will probably be a similar ballpark to the scenario that you're discussing if we hadn't, if we weren't using those. So the variance for a single family would go up about $237, condos, $253, two family, $512, three family, $563, and commercial, $280. So it's not the exact scenario you're talking about, but it's a similar amount of money then being pushed onto the levy. So that's around the increases that we saw, that we would see.
So if we and once again, this is all hypothetical. So if we hadn't shifted money out of free cash and the other sources, and we didn't have new growth, the average tax bill would have gone up probably in the range of round numbers. Once again, I'm going to hold it for like $400, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so if we don't take the steps to use free cash and the receipts reserved to mitigate the levy, and if we were not able to capture the new growth, basically the numbers I just said would actually be doubled, because that would be 2.3 plus 2 million coming on. And so all of those numbers would then be doubled. So, you know, almost $500 for single family, similar for condo, almost $1,000 for two family, over $1,000 for three family, and almost $600 for commercial. So it would have gone up quite a bit more if we didn't have the new growth, and if we don't take the steps to mitigate the increase using free cash and the receipts reserved.
Right. It is also important to make people understand that when we sweep, one of the actions we do later is we sweep the accounts, the golf course, the witch house, and all those accounts, because we set those up as a revolving fund. So we sweep them at the end of the year. We let them run themselves basically as a business during the year, but at the end of the year, we sweep the accounts in order to offset the costs, because we incur those costs during the year. So once again, Anna, thank you for all that you do as well. It's we've had a transition between your team and the assessors team, and I think they've done a great job in making people understand. And I want to thank you for all your work. As Councilor Turiel and I are very fond of saying, you figure out what you're going to do with the money, and when we go through the budget, now it's time to write the check. So we put together our wish list of everything we wanted to accomplish for the years with the departments and everything, and now's the time when we pay for it. And I think that we've done a pretty good job by utilizing free cash and some other sources, as well as new growth, as to holding down the tax rate. So thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you. My hand. So one of the things that goes with this process also that I wanted to kind of draw attention to is that we're sweeping free cash out of the other accounts. So when the witch house has a successful season, when the golf course has a successful season, that generates more revenue into the city. Overall, we don't run the city as a business. It's not all about profit and loss, but we do have individual areas that generate revenue that we can then use to bring in to, keep tax rates down for the residents. And that's one of the real positives we have, so that we have multiple sources. And it's for things like within the Harbor Master's Department, the fact that we're doing all the vessel storage now and generating profits from that. We've done some pretty creative things to try and bring more revenue into the city, without it directly having an impact on, on taxpayers. So that's been a big positive. And so and also as my colleague just said, this is the point of the year where we see, okay, what have we been able to do? How much growth have we been able to bring in? What have we done with values? And this is how we pay for the budget that we decided on back in June. So, it's an important step of the process. And unfortunately, it would be nice if we could do these together. But unfortunately, because of the way the fiscal year closes and free cash has to be certified by the state, we can't do the one until roughly 6 months after the other. So, it's a necessity of the way the system operates. This is, I think, the earliest in the calendar year that we've done one in my 10 years. So on December 1st itself. So that's a positive that we're doing it sooner or later. So the rest, since we've had nothing from the public, I'll take the procedural step of moving to close the public hearing. So I move that the public hearing be closed. The city council can continue discussion, but.
Council Terrio moves to close the public hearing. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. Any further comments from members of the council? Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I did have a couple questions. One of my questions was, I know we went up in a positive new growth from last year. I think it was 1.5 last year I had written down. But seeing that we did extremely well again, how much new growth would it take so we wouldn't have to see the increases, so we could stay level from last year is one of my questions. And my other question is, I believe last year the condo owners, they took a bigger hit as well. And I didn't think that was going to happen again this year. Can you explain why the condos, again, 2 years in a row, are taking a bigger hit than the single-family houses? Thank you.
Stephen, if you could, apologies.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Anna.
Apologies. Stephen, if you could take the question about the condos, I can handle the question about new growth.
Sure. And it all comes down to sales. Sales of condos in our analysis have gone up by that much, that percentage. And single families, 6.2, condos, the difference, 9.5. That comes from our analysis of sales that have happened in 2020. And it looks like going forward, there might be more increases next year due to rebounding market and heavy, overpaying, bidding wars. But yeah, I would say it just comes down to sales.
And on the question on new growth, I think a way that might be helpful to think about this is that for the budget that was approved for FY22, we need to come up with about $8 million in new revenue to support the expenditures in that budget. And that includes the appropriations plus other things that we need to accommodate, such as snow and ice deficit, our overlay for abatements, et cetera. So when you roll all of that up, we have to come up with about $8 million in new revenues this year to pay for all of that. And so when you look at that 8 million, that would basically be the number we would need to generate fully in new growth to accommodate whatever that growth is in the budget. And one thing that might be helpful to think about is of that 8 million for this year, only 35% is going to be coming from the increased tax levy in order to accommodate that. The majority of the growth in revenues to support that budget increase is coming from local receipts and local aid increases. And so we additionally increased the amount of free cash and receipts reserve that we're recommending to use for this year to help mitigate that impact on the tax levy. Additionally, with the new growth being so strong, 2,053,000 and change, the tax levy is only going up about, I shouldn't say only, is going up $2,872,964. So all but around $800,000 is in new growth. So we've almost captured, we're almost there in terms of either if we do not have growth in all those other sources of funding, we would have needed to have basically that full 2.8 million in new growth, but we had 2.05. So I hope that maybe explains it. It basically depends on what do we have available for local receipts, local aid, other sources of funding to help make up some of that. And then whatever's remaining is new growth enough to cover all of that, so that the tax levy would basically stay the same for those that have not had growth. I hope that was helpful.
No, that did. When you were saying about other things, figuring in on that, are you figuring in the sales from the retail pot, marijuana?
Yes, exactly. So we take a look at what those trends have been, and we are making more aggressive estimates this year than we did last year. Last year with COVID-19, the city had to be a bit conservative with all the unknowns with the economy. Clearly the economy is doing much better now. And so we were able to be a bit more aggressive on our assumptions, and with more establishments coming online and us starting to accumulate a history on excise tax and also the mitigation payments, we're getting a better sense of what types of revenues those are generating, so that we can be a little bit more precise with those estimates and capture those better.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to follow up on Councilor Flynn's question. This whole concept that condos have their taxes have gone up more and single families not so much. And I believe actually last year condos on average went up 0. It was 2 years ago that they went up more. Last year, 2 and 3 family homes went up quite a bit, and this year again they went up quite a bit. But everyone has the same tax rate. It's just that I think that these are being pulled out to give people an idea of what to expect. But it's because that classification of home style has gone up. 2 and 3 family homes are very expensive, probably because of all the condo conversions. But and this year we've seen single family home prices go way up with bidding wars, but everyone has the same tax rate. So a lot of times after these meetings, people feel like because they own a condo, they're being treated worse tax-wise because their taxes went up so much and single family homes didn't, and why are they being burdened like that? So if someone out there can, either Ms. Friedman or Mr. Cortez can talk more about why you pull out these different housing classifications, that would be very helpful.
Right. So last year, actually, you're right. The average condo bill went down $5. So, and we do show the average condo bills just to give people a sense of, what it is for their style property. Also for single families, 2 families, 3 families, and commercial as well. And when we show that slide, it was, for the average. So if you're below that, which for this year, the
53%?
53% is below the average condo value. So it just helps to give a breakdown and an example for those who have condos.
So 53% of condo owners won't see an increase in their tax bill.
It would correct it. Well, no, 53% are below the average. The average increase would be $148 for the average. So if you're below that, that's, the increases would be below that.
The increase would be below $148.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that's for the average.
So Anna, can you clarify Councilor's question about why those 2 classifications are highlighted?
Sure, and I think just to also underscore the councilor's note about the same rate. And so all residential classes of properties, the tax rate will be $13.25 per thousand. So no matter the category of residential, that's the rate. And then for commercial, it would be $26.31 per thousand. And so as Stephen noted, it's the calculation off of what the value is based on per thousand. So it's that rate times what the value is. And so when we pull those out, because those are the different types of categories off of which the assessors are doing their work. And so it's important to highlight, just to echo what Stephen said, so that folks can look at what style property they have, to give them a general sense of what to expect. And if folks ever have specific questions on their individual properties, I know the assessor's office is more than happy to speak with them on the phone, or very much happy to meet with them in person. But we call them out, since that's the way that they are individually categorized. And then all of those figures roll up together to be the total residential category. And we just wanted to call it individually to give folks an expectation for their own personal situations.
Thank you. So to summarize, it doesn't matter if you own a single family, two family, or condo, you pay the same residential tax rate, which is going down, proposed to go down this year. But the value of each of those properties differ, and therefore you pay a different tax bill based on the value. Okay. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I had a series of questions, but Stephen answered pretty much everything along the way. I do have one remaining one. I just want to point out to Anna and to Stephen and to the entire Board of Assessors that you're doing a great job here. I thought that we would take a step backwards with Deb stepping down, but with her helping a little bit, I guess, you guys have done a better job, I'll say. I like the presentation changes. There's a lot of questions that I've had over the last couple of years that were spun a different way and became obvious and were answered today. So thank you. Good job. I think the best way in keeping the residential taxes down are two ways. One is to simply reduce spending where we can. The bigger issue is on the bigger dollar amount would be on to grow the commercial tax base. That would help with jobs as well. So with that, I want to ask, the only remaining question I had was on the commercial side of things. It looks like it's gone down 0.5%, and why? I guess my question through you, Madam President, would be to Stephen. Why has it gone down?
Stephen?
Yes, well, due to COVID, that has created vacancies. And also, it has, a lot of places have lost income, and that's how we assess commercial properties. And then 20 businesses like hotels, inns, a lot of other places were shut down, and they were not taking in the revenue that they normally would have. So I would say that.
Right, a follow-up to that, if I may, Madam President.
Yep, go ahead.
With regard to the power plant property, they're paying, they're on board, full board now, but we still have substantial underutilized or vacant property on both sides of the power plant property that will someday be subdivided off, I believe. Going forward, how will the offshore wind turbines be taxed? Because it will still be basically, it'll be improved land, but it will still be basically vacant land unless there be a warehouse or some small buildings there. Compared to the overall size of the small buildings, they may be large. But they'll be storing equipment there, being offshore wind turbines. Well, those products that will be located out, 8 to 20 miles offshore, we won't be able to see them from the land. Will those units be taxed while they're there? How will it work with offshore wind turbines? And if you don't know the answer to this, that's fine, because it's basically a new industry.
Correct. There's, I don't know what agreements are going to be made down the line with the city and offshore wind. But I know that, it would be assessed, if it's a port, it would be assessed as a port, which is higher than just vacant land or excess or residual land for another parcel. So we would classify it differently than just being that, which would raise the value of that land as well. And then, of course, there's the personal property aspect of that as well. So we will collect any kind of personal property that is used with that type of business that's going there.
Again, good job. Madam President, I have no more questions.
Thank you. Any further comments from members of the council? Seeing none. Thank you.
Councilor Flynn has his
Oh,
hand.
Councilor Flynn, sorry. Councilor Flynn, go ahead.
That's all right. Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks for clearing that up, that it was 2 years ago that the average condo went up in last year. I was just looking at my notes, but thank you for that, clearing that up.
Thank you. That was to Councilor Marcillo. All right, seeing no further comments. Thank you, Anna, Stephen, and members of the board, and also Jim. Is he still here? Oh, there he is. Thank you for all your great work, very detailed analysis, and I even learned something new this time, and I'm really appreciative of all the work that happens in the background throughout the year. And looking forward to more work from you all, and thank you for taking the time to attend tonight. Okay, and with that, we're moving on to appointments and reappointments.
Councilor Dibble has his hand up. I don't.
Oh, I thought he was waving goodbye. Councilor Dibble.
That's pretty good, Madam President. Thank you. A point of personal privilege, if I may, very
Sure.
briefly.
Yep.
Thank you. I just wanted to publicly, I was hoping the mayor was at this past hearing just now, and I understand she couldn't be there, but I just wanted to publicly congratulate the mayor on winning another term. I fell about 9% short on my bid. I worked with the mayor on her campaign 16 years ago, and although recently we've had a few disagreements, the mayor has my full support. And, you know, basically, if the mayor does well, then the city of Salem does well. I love what she's doing with the power plant, good paying jobs, job creation at the power plant, with the offshore wind turbines and other marine related businesses. And hopefully the same job creation can happen at Shetland Industrial Park as well to further keep our taxes down, our residential taxes down in Salem. So again, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to congratulate the mayor on beating me in the election.
Thank you. For appointments and reappointments.
The mayor's reappointment of Judith Cohn to the Conservation Commission with a term to expire on November 15th, 2024.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Hapworth moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
I just want to thank Ms. Cohn for her willingness to continue to serve.
This is a reappointment. Okay, thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent. Councilor Sargent.
Tap to speak.
Speak. Thank you, Madam President. Yes, please.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski.
Yes.
Councilor Morcillo.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Maduro.
Yes, on the reappointment of Judith Cohn to the Conservation Commission, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $3,062,519 shall be raised and appropriated from the City of Salem General Fund for the purpose of supporting the fiscal year 2022 Trash Enterprise Fund expense subsidy, which represents the amount to be raised less operational expenses.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. If anybody has questions and wasn't able to read their packet, Ms. Friedman is still on the call, but this is pretty straightforward. This is a housekeeping measure that the Department of Revenue has asked the city to do. We have already budgeted the money in our out of our fund because we do trash through an enterprise fund. They have asked us to put the money in there from our general fund, basically. That's the simplest explanation there is. So it's a housekeeping measure. We're moving the same amount of money, but it's being moved between pockets.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the appropriation for Trash Enterprise Fund for fiscal year 2022, we have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, and negative, and matter carries. Further communications.
We've been ordered that the sum of $1,361,195 is hereby appropriated from the following receipts reserve appropriation accounts to reduce the tax rate amount to be raised by taxation when the fiscal year 2022 tax rate is set.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This was discussed somewhat in the, in the previous set during the public hearing, but we're sweeping a good amount of the revenue out of all these accounts and using them to offset what would otherwise be a tax increase. We are leaving a decent amount of money at this point in the Witch House account, which covers a lot of other related tourism city expenses and services. We're leaving approximately $250,000 in the golf course account and approximately $50,000 in the Harbor Master account. And those funds are available if the city needs them for further use or for investment within those areas. So, we leave some money in place for them to use on an ongoing basis. We continue to fund them, and then as we bring in revenues, we sweep them in annually.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Duvall.
Hi, thank you, Madam President. I'm curious about Winter Island. I guess we took a hit this year, so we're sweeping nothing out of Winter Island. I guess that's a question through you, Madam President. Maybe perhaps the Ward 5 Council might know that answer.
Madam President, if I could, Winter Island isn't a revolving fund that we sweep normally, to my recollection.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the appropriation from these three accounts, we have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Further communications.
We have been ordered that $1 million is hereby appropriated from the fund balance reserved for appropriation free cash to reduce the tax rate amount to be raised by taxation when the fiscal year 2022 tax rate is set.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is taking some of that money that has been certified as free cash and putting it directly into reducing taxation. We have other uses that we take for free cash. We use that to pay for some of that to pay for capital expenses. We take some of it and we will wind up in separate orders at some point that will come through next year. We'll be putting money into our reserves, into our stabilization fund, back into our capital fund, and into our pension liabilities. But this is taking some off the top and putting it in for this use.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Presnewski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madua.
Yes. On appropriation from the free cash account, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, 9 in negative. The matter carries. Further communications.
We have an order that the sum of $96,800 is hereby transferred and appropriated from the sale of city property fund to the engineering department's contracted services account to pay for a licensed site professional services related to the Furlong Park reconstruction and adjacent parcel A soil remediation.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is for some cleanup work on the parcel associated with Furlong Park that the city is retaining, not the section that we have ceded and sold to the developer of the adjacent property. So this will go towards remediation work to making it a parking lot for further use of the park.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor DeVoe.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to refresh my brain here, but I was under the, not the assumption, but we had many meetings on this parcel over the last probably 3 or 4 years now, many of them in executive session. But I believe the developer was to have paid for the cleanup of this property. So I'm a little bit hesitant in assigning $96,000 for the engineering work. And then, once we find what's wrong with the property, then we'll be paying for the cleanup as well. The developers, the previous owners, stored and worked on automobile vehicles. It was a junkyard for many years. There was all sorts of automotive liquids and other things contaminating the property. And now we're being stuck and being put on the hook. I'd like to move that this go to committee and we bring in the city solicitor, who's very familiar with the property, and have a discussion with her on this and who should actually be paying for this cleanup.
Councilor Dibble moves to refer the matter to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
That's right. Co-posted, please.
Co-posted.
And that the city solicitor be invited.
And that the city solicitor be invited.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Sargent, I believe. Under discussion?
Sure, Madam President. I would say that I don't have an inherent problem with doing this, and we can find out if necessary where any additional money is coming from. That said, my expectation here, and I will notice the Ward 6 councilor probably has some more information on this, or may or may not, but having been more involved in this from this stage forward. But in cases like this, generally speaking, because it's a city-owned parcel, most likely it's that we incur the cost and then would get reimbursed for it since it wasn't our usage. But we can verify that. We have an A&F meeting next week, so that's fine if need be.
Councilor, you have an A&F meeting next week that's been posted, or?
Yes, we have posted one for next Wednesday.
Okay, so would you need to amend the agenda if this gets?
I don't think the agenda's been posted yet, but yeah, it would be added to the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on referral to committee? Seeing none on referral to Committee of Administration and Finance co-posted. All those in favor? We see 11 hands. All opposed. The matter is referred. Further communications.
We've in order that the mayor and the city council accept the provisions of section 4, chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986 for fiscal year 2022, and that such additional exemptions granted be 100% of the statutory exemption amounts, provided all other qualifications specified in said section 4, chapter 73 of Acts of 1986 are met.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is something we do every year. This allows us to give additional tax exemptions to widows, elderly, veterans, blind property owners. It's a small amount, but we do this every year and it has to be explicitly authorized every year.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on the adoption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Terrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski,
Yes.
Councilor Masillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the order for the exemption, when the 11 councilors voting, L affirmative, none negative, the matter carries. Further communications.
We've in order to accept the donation from proceeds from the sale of K9 t-shirts and sweatshirts during the 2021 Haunted Happenings Halloween season, the amount of $10,327 for the K9 program at the Salem Police Department. These funds will be deposited in the K9 donation account.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. We saw them out there during this Halloween season. We had a lot of visitors and they bought a lot of t-shirts. And, thank you for, this is run, if I recall, directly by supporters of the police department and trying to, replenish the accounts. And, so we can bring a couple of new dogs in since we've had a couple of retirees recently. Just like in the police department itself, we have retirees there everywhere.
Not dogs, they're officers. All right. Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I think this is just absolutely awesome. The amount of revenue that comes in, this looks like it's significantly higher than it has been in the past. And I would simply like to have us send a letter of thank you to those that were involved in the actual sale of these. And I'm trying to find out who ran the sale, and I'm not finding it for sure. So I guess if we can direct the Madam City Clerk to track down who coordinated the sale of this and to send them a thank you letter from us, from the City Council. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Agreed. Any further discussion? Councilor Presnewski.
These money were raised by the people who have been supporting the K9 program, which includes the K9 officers, Rosemary O'Connell from Mac Park Association and several other volunteers that man the booths downtown with the K9 t-shirts and the K9 memorabilia. I just don't want it to get lost that the Superior Officers Union and the Patrolmen's Association also had a merchandise booth downtown that they raised a lot of money and are donating a lot of money to a lot of good causes. I think in today's Globe in the Metro section, there's a piece about the unions donating over $8,000 to supply 11 notebooks to the North Shore Consortium for the students over there. And I think there's also going to be a $10,000 check cut to the Salem Children's Charity by the unions. They had a banner year. We had a lot of tourists in town. There was a lot of T-shirts, patches, coins, etc. sold, and the police department was nice enough to pay it forward. So if Madam Clerk is going to send something for the K-9, I think it should also include all the other benevolence from all the other police officers that have participated in paying it forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Terrio.
Yes.
Council Sargent.
Yes.
Council Riccardi.
yes,
Council Krasniewski.
Yes.
Council Marcillo.
Yes,
Council McCarthy.
Yes.
Council Hapworth.
Yes.
Council Flynn.
Yes.
Council Dominguez.
Yes.
Council Dibble.
Yes.
And Council Madore.
Yes. On acceptance of the donation to benefit the K-9 program, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Further communications.
In order to accept the donation from the Friends of the Salem Council on Aging in the amount of $4,200 for 280 Thanksgiving meals for isolated or homebound seniors. These funds will be deposited in the Council on Aging Donations Fund account.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. The Friends of the COA do a ton to help our seniors and work with our senior center and the programs we put on there. And this is just another one of the really great things they do for our community every year.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Flynn, you could recuse yourself for this one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? Let the record reflect that Councilor Flynn has recused himself. Seeing no further discussion on the adoption matter.
Councilor McCarthy has his hand
Oh,
up.
Councilor McCarthy. You want to recuse yourself too?
No. No, I mean, to recuse yourself, you basically have to have a financial interest in it. And this is the Friends of the Council on Aging donating back to the fund for the seniors. And I just want to thank Rosanna Donahue down at the Council on Aging for all her work. And I want to thank Manny Cruz and the Brothers Restaurant for preparing all the meals. This year, my boys and I went out and I think we delivered 20 some odd meals this year to help out Rosanna. She has a ton of volunteers that donate all these meals. And I just want to thank them for all their efforts. And because I know how appreciative, when my boys went knocking on the doors to drop off the meals, how appreciative our seniors were and able to get a warm meal on Thanksgiving morning. So I want to thank the Friends on the Council on Aging for making the donation, but at the same time, I want to thank Rosanna, all the staff down there, and Manny and all the staff over at Brothers for preparing all of these meals and for all the and making everyone's Thanksgiving a little bit better. I think it went up to 280 meals this year. I think last year was I want to say it was like 150. So it's really well received and well needed, and I want to thank everybody for their efforts.
Thank you, Councilor DeBoer.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to echo the Ward 1 councilor's comments just now in the way that he identified certain parties that help out with this effort. This effort's really, really needed for some families. They look forward, especially some seniors really look forward to this, mostly seniors, I think, on this. But while the city clerk is writing letters, can we have her send a letter of thank you for their efforts to the Friends of the Council on Aging as well?
Yep, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam City Clerk.
Council Terrio.
Yes.
Council Sargent.
Yes.
Council Riccardi.
yes,
Council Krasniewski.
Yes.
Council Marcello.
yes,
Council McCarthy.
Yes.
Council Hapworth.
Yes.
Council Dominguez.
Yes.
Council Dibble.
Yes.
And Council Madore.
Yes. On acceptance of the donation to benefit the Council on Aging Donations Fund, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 recused, 10 affirmative, 1 recused. The mayor carries. Other communications.
We have a resolution recognizing World AIDS Day.
Councilor Riccardi.
thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote. Sorry,
Would you like to read the resolution?
Sorry, resolution recognizing World AIDS Day. Whereas December 1st is recognized each year and around the world as World AIDS Day, and whereas 2021 marks the 40th anniversary of the first 5 AIDS cases to be officially reported, and whereas over the last 4 decades, AIDS and AIDS-related illnesses have claimed the lives of 36 million people, including 700,000 in the United States, and whereas the AIDS epidemic has especially harmed our LGBTQ+ residents, both in the Commonwealth and across the country and the globe, and whereas the theme of World AIDS Day 2021 is equitable access, everyone's voice, in recognition of the importance of addressing health inequalities and ensuring the voices of those living with HIV are central in the work of ending the HIV epidemic. And whereas new discoveries and innovations in HIV research, prevention, care, and treatment have contributed to reducing new HIV transmissions and ensuring individuals with HIV can live long, healthy lives, and communities and our nations have taken important steps to address HIV stigma both locally and within our healthcare systems. And whereas despite this progress, work remains as HIV continues to be a threat to many populations domestically and globally, with certain peoples and regions bearing most of the burden and systemic inequities serving as critical barriers. And whereas it is essential that those with lived experience of the AIDS epidemic, including those with HIV, as well as their families, friends, loved ones, and caregivers, are at the center of the planning, development, and implementation of such work. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Mayor of the City of Salem and the Salem City Council recognize World AIDS Day today, December 1st, 2021, and recommits our community to lifting up and supporting our neighbors living with the virus and serving as part of the nationwide partnership of governments, community organizations, clinicians and researchers, and families and advocates all collaborating to end the HIV epidemic. And now I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Riccardi moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. I know I was actually really surprised. I did not know that this was the 40th anniversary of the first 5 AIDS cases officially reported. That really kind of had me step back for a second and really think about all that has evolved in the past 40 years and all that has changed. I'd also like to take a second to note that in the letter from the mayor in presenting this to the council, she wanted to take the opportunity to use this chance along with the resolution to recognize World AIDS Day. If we kind of look at the resolution and the recommitment of our community to lifting up and supporting our neighbors, to also include, she also wanted to take the opportunity to place a strong formal message as well of support and appreciation for LGBTQ+ students and staff at Salem State University. In recent weeks, we have heard news and stories about what is going on at the campus over there, and the mayor wanted to also provide her official formal message of support, because Salem is a proud and welcoming place for all people, regardless of who they love or how they identify.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam C. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Prosnewski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On adoption of the resolution, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Mayor's informational page.
We have a letter from the mayor with her recommendation of setting the current fiscal year tax rate.
Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move it be received and filed.
Councilor Chorio, move that this be received and filed. All those in favor? See 11 hands. All opposed. The matter is received and filed. It's on file. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Order that the City of Salem adopt a residential factor of 85.6113% for fiscal year 2022, and I move adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Chorio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the rate that comes out of this is the rate that came out of discussion translated into a percentage.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcello,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council McDeville,
Yes.
Council Madore.
Yes. On adoption of the residential factor, we have for fiscal 2022, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, the mayor carries. Further, motion
Madam President.
oh, sorry, Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it will not prevail.
Councilor Chorio moves for immediate reconsideration and hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. Opposed.
Opposed? Okay. Matter is not reconsidered. Further orders. Councilor
Oh, sorry.
Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the City of Salem not adopt an open space exemption for fiscal year 2022, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Chorio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcello,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On the order to not adopt open space exemption for fiscal 22, we have 11 councilors voting, an affirmative, and a negative. The mayor carries. Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the city not adopt a residential exemption for fiscal year 2022, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
I thought you were going to move for.
Oh, sorry. Move for immediate reconsideration. Hopes will not prevail. I moved too fast. My turn.
Councilor Chorio moves for immediate reconsideration and hopes does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
The matter is not reconsidered.
Try that again.
Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered the city not adopt a residential exemption for fiscal year 2022, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Chorio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam President.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please hold the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcello,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On the order to not adopt a residential exemption, we have 11 councilors voting, an affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate reconsideration. The hopes will not prevail.
Councilor Chorio moves for immediate reconsideration and hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed?
The matter is not reconsidered. I did see 11 hands. Sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't say that for the other ones. Councilor Chorio.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the city not adopt a small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2022, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Chorio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam President.
Seeing no discussion, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcello,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes. On the order to not adopt a small commercial exemption for fiscal 22, We have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, the matter carries. Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it will not prevail.
Counselor Terrio moves for immediate reconsideration in hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
See 11 hands opposed. The matter is not reconsidered. Counselor Terrio.
Let's see. Ordered that the monthly financial reports dated June 2021, July 2021, August 2021, September 2021, and October 2021 be received and filed, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. We got these recently in our email, and it's good that all the numbers are being properly generated again now that Ms. Friedman has fully settled in.
Thank you. I looked at them. They were good. Any further discussion? Seeing none on adoption, Madam C. Clerk.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the order to accept financial reports, we have 11 counselors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, the matter carries. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the 2022 special meeting for the inauguration of the City Council organizational meeting shall take place on Monday, January 3rd, 2022 at 10 a.m. at the Community Life Center, 401 Bridge Street, Salem, Mass. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor McCarthy moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Briefly, Madam President, as it usually is with the inauguration, we try to move it to a larger venue. It's an exciting day. New councilors and extended families show up, and the council chambers just do not adequately house it. So we've moved it around a couple different places, and I think it's fitting that we take it and move it to the Community Life Center. I think it's going to be a nice venue, and I know that our city clerk has been working with actually her sister, Ellen Tarkowski, who's the event coordinator for the city, in order to start the ball rolling on the logistics behind this big day for a lot of our new incoming councilor elects and for the returning councilors. So I move for adoption.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
No.
Counselor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to take a moment to congratulate the new councilors-elect and wish my colleagues who are continuing on good luck. And I'm so very, very glad and thankful that it's a live meeting for you and your families, and not something that's going to be on Zoom, and take away a little bit from the day. So good job, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam C. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the order for the 2022 special meeting for inauguration and organizational meeting, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, and a negative. The matter carries. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. Resolution expressing support for Salem State University LGBTQ+ students and faculty. Whereas on February the 27th in the year 2014, the Salem City Council adopted a non-discrimination policy that states, quote, "No individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity as a result of his or her age, ancestry, color, disability, family status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation." And whereas the city of Salem is home to Salem State University, founded in 1854 and one of the largest publicly supported state universities in the Commonwealth. And whereas the City of Salem values and affirms the students and faculty of Salem State University as important voices and members of our community. And whereas members of the LGBTQ+ community at Salem State University add to the fabric of our diverse community in the city. And whereas the academic, social, and mental health needs of LGBTQ+ students must be upheld and supported by the Salem State University community and the City of Salem community at large. And all students must feel safe at all times on campus, in their homes, and in their community. All students must have equal access to all parts of the campus at all times without feeling threatened because of who they are or who they love. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Salem expresses its strongest possible support for the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of all members of the LGBTQ+ community, and specifically those within the Salem State University student body and faculty. We call on the SSU President and the Board of Trustees to uphold the rights and safety of all students, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be submitted to the Salem State University Alliance, SSU President John Keenan, and the SSU Board of Trustees. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Masillo moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. I offer this resolution in support of our community members who are being subjected to uninvited harassment, bullying, and hate by an individual who is not a member of the campus community. No student should feel unsafe on campus for any reason, and no student should feel that they must alter their travel routes between buildings because of this harassment. And so I do call on the leadership of Salem State University to take these complaints seriously and to ensure that LGBTQ+ students continue to feel like full members of the student body. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor DeBoer.
Thank you, Madam President. As the Ward 7 City Councilor and the majority of Salem State being located within Ward 7, this is something that I can easily support. But I do want to point out over the last 6 years, I have attended many meetings and many functions in and around this community, including 3 this school year since September already. And I just want to point out, this seems like it's a little bit of bashing of Salem State officials, but it really isn't. I think the Salem State University does a phenomenal job in addressing issues, no matter if it's this one issue, if it's race issues, SWAT stickers, and other things being spray painted, a bunch of different graffiti things that they've handled immediately. But across the board, I think Salem State University, their staff does a very good job in addressing this, and I think they will welcome this from the City Council. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Counselor Churio.
Thank you, Madam President. I will just point out, I fully support this resolution, and I will absolutely vote in favor of it. Salem State is in a tough position, and unfortunately, something that's happened here is a communications issue, clearly, where Salem State, being a state university, does not have the legal right to keep this particular individual off their campus because it's a public space. And as difficult as that is, what they are doing is they are trying to make it difficult and inconvenient for this person to come and do their business. They are working actively to do that. They're trying to do things to show support to the attacked community there. They have been faculty, staff, and leadership there have been coming out to events to try and show their support as well. And for the last several weeks, and I'll just point this out for anybody watching, a group from the Salem Mamas group online has been organizing a We're With You event every Wednesday, generally from 10 to 2, where they come out and they have snacks and goodies and giveaways for the kids, and just come out there to, you know, show support that we're with these kids, and we're the kind of city that has the kids' back and not the back of, you know, hate preachers from out of state. And a number of city council members and you know, and newly elected city councilors have been at these over the last several weeks. Our state rep was there today in support, and President Keenan was even there today, showing, you know, in his support with Nate Bryant. So it's very difficult. We want to support Salem State in trying to combat this as best as we can as a city and prevent this, but it's, you know, it's, I hope that they can make sure they get their message out that they are with these kids. They are on the right side. It's just they're constrained some by the law and what they can and can't do, and it's really unfortunate. But I mean, I think most of Salem, virtually all of Salem, is with these kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. And of course, we all support the spirit of this. I don't know, but at the beginning I sensed the slight insinuation that maybe the president or the board of trustees, people felt they weren't caring enough or weren't doing their job in this case. And after hearing councilors talk, that's not so. I did read a letter to the editor from some of the students that kind of went against one of the trustees, Robert Lutz. And I tell you, there's no better man of character, caring, you know, that kind person that would worry about these kids more than Bobby Lutz. Bobby Lutz has been a wonderful, kind, caring person since I know him in high school, all through his life, and he still is now, and I hold him in the highest esteem, and I just want to make sure everybody knows that. And of course, John Keenan, we feel the same way about. And, you know, those guys care about the kids and care about right from wrong, and would not step aside and let anybody be bothered for any reason. And so with that, knowing what has been said, I'll support this. But I just want to make sure that we know that those two Salem guys and the rest of the people who I don't know personally care about these kids. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to commend Councilor Marcillo for bringing this forward. I think, you know, what elected officials say matters to people. And I think it can be easy for us to take for granted the legitimacy of our own selves and our families and the way other people view it. But for some people, they don't have that privilege, maybe. And I think that the things that we say and do as elected officials, even if it's just a resolution, I think those sorts of things matter. It's something that the community there was asking for, and I just want to commend Councilor Marcillo for bringing this forward.
Thank you. Councillor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I also wanted to thank the Good Ward 3 councillor for bringing this resolution forward. I know myself, I was pretty shocked and dismayed and upset when I read the original letter to the editor in the Salem News around what was going on at the campus there. But since then, I have been utterly impressed, really, as I think we all are, on how the community and how the city does come together, such as actions like this of writing a resolution that we support Salem State students, the faculty, the staff, Board of Trustees, President Keenan, in making sure that students have a safe environment to be learning in. A few weeks ago, I made a comment because there was a note from my daughter's teacher about how she was doing so great at school, and I absolutely attribute that to her confidence in school, which is totally coming from, it's an environment where she feels safe. And students are not going to be able to learn, they're not going to be able to be themselves if they don't feel safe. And I think that's really kind of the utter core of this. And I appreciate the resolution brought forward to be able to use our voice as counselors to show that we completely support what will need to be done. I'd also like to put another shout out to the Salem Moms Group, who have done actual action and getting together and organizing a visual show of support for the Salem State students. I know it's been great myself to go back on campus. It's been 20 some years since I've been on campus as a student myself at Salem State. But it was so nice to see that outshowing of support and to see the moms together out there and organizing the community and getting everybody to really rally that support. So I just want to throw a shout out as well. Thank you to them.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, members. I'll be brief. I too want to thank Council Masilla for bringing this in. I think that it speaks volumes that I wouldn't expect anything else but a unanimous vote on this resolution. I think that it all can be said that we totally support the Salem State University Alliance, the president, the board of trustees, and all the students at Salem State. Everyone has the right to feel safe, and I think that this we just want to highlight the fact that we believe that they should feel safe, and that we're resolved to make sure that they understand that we support them, and then it is just the nature of, you have some people that wanted to try to make people uncomfortable, and they want to exert their rights of free speech, which they can, and sometimes that's hard. But we just want them to know that we don't condone it, but we want to let them know that we're here to support them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Council Marcello,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
Council Madore.
Yes. On adoption of the resolution, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 affirmative, none negative. The matter carries. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, December 1st, 2021. Ordered that the Public Health, Safety, and Environment Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet with the Building Department and any other necessary department to discuss ways to repair, replace, and maintain offices and bathrooms at 93 Washington Street, including but not limited to wallpaper, rugs, ceilings, pipes, bathroom stalls, flooring, windows, and window coverings. And that Rule 31B be suspended so that this matter can be carried into the new year, 2022. Under discussion.
Move for adoption.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Sargent moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you. During my time as city clerk, I noticed a lot of these things going on in the building, and I wanted to see them repaired so that the current employees of City Hall can be more comfortable. And actually, I got this from the city clerk, and I'm reading it for her, so she may want to speak on it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. If you would like to speak on the matter, seeing none, any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank the city clerk for bringing this forward. I think if you just walk through the hallways at City Hall, everything looks pretty good until you really start looking at the photographs that, it was about a dozen photographs that were submitted to all of us, tell a different story. And clearly work needs to happen in terms of general maintenance, painting, etc. I don't know if that was mold in some of the pictures, but a couple of them look pretty bad, pretty scary looking photographs. That work clearly needs to happen soon. So I applaud Council Sargent and the city clerk for bringing this in. I'd like to recommend, and I'll throw this out to the city clerk, that for many years, decades ago, we used inmates out of the Lawrence Correctional Facility. These were minor people who were in jail who did minor offenses, maybe 3 or 4 drunken driving requests for some carpenter or painter, but they were skilled workers. And we brought them in at the old senior center, 5 Broad Street, and a few other places around the city. And they did great work, woodworking, carpentry, even laying rugs, painting, all sorts of things. And it saved a substantial amount of money. Later, we brought in high school kids with some trade people as well. So if we don't have the money, there are other ways of getting this thing done. Perhaps the inmates from the jail can do the lion's share of the work, and then we can bring in a contractor to do the more high-tech work of replacing windows or laying the rug or whatever it be. But there are ways of getting this done. We don't need to wait on this. Those photographs show that the work needs to be done soon. Perhaps closing one room, rebuilding that whole one room, a couple days later, reopening it and move on to the next room instead of doing several rooms all at one time. But there's ways of getting this done and getting it done cheap.
Any further discussion? None on adoption. Madam City Clerk.
Council Terrio,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Presnewski,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council McCarthy,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
and Council Madore.
Yes, on adoption of the order, we have 11 councilors voting, an affirmative, none negative, the matter carries. Committee reports. Council Terrio.
Sorry, I thought it was the next one. So I don't have the proper committee report form with me, but the committee, City Council Committee Administration Finance, and to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend that council orders 192 and 12 be discharged, and orders 345 and 413 will be carried forward, and have a Rule 31B suspended so the matters may be carried forward.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, matter carries. On adoption of recommendation, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. We're keeping two matters in committee and carrying them forward, one of which we expect to be hearing next week. The issue on the clerk and assistant clerk's compensation, and we are keeping the ARPA funds for the next city council to be able to work with and hold any meetings that they choose to hear.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, December 1st, 2021. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend that the following licenses be granted: a junk dealer's license and a secondhand valuables license.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? See 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none, that carries. On adoption of the recommendation, Councilor Marcillo.
No discussion? No.
Any further discussion?
I move for adoption by roll call vote? No, move for adoption.
Just any further discussion? Seeing none,
No.
on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, December 1st, 2021. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend the following: that items number 24 from 2018, number 197 and 332 from 2019, number 96, 97, 182, and 544 from this year are all discharged. Number 141, 383, 494, 559, 562, 565, 598, 599, and 606 be carried forward. And in the next couple of days, we're going to be handling 363, 339, and 565.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, matter carries. On adoption recommendation, under discussion, Councilor Marcillo. Seeing no further discussion. On adoption of recommendation, all those in favor? I see 11 hands, all opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Further committee reports, Counselor Hapworth.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Government Services, to whom was referred the matter of carrying forward, has considered said matter, would recommend the discharge of numbers 154, 258, 593A, and 616, and suspension of Rule 31B to carry forward 423, 240, 279, 391, 446, 530, and 560.
On the acceptance of the report, all those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, the matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, any discussion? Counselor Hapworth?
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? I see 11 hands. All opposed, the matter carries. Just a quick reminder before we move on that we are looking to have a special meeting on the 9th. Thursday the 9th, to take up committee reports. So if there are any last minute committee matters, that would be the time to take it up. I hope at least 6 of you, us, will be able to attend, and that will be in person.
Whoa. That was a clap.
That was a clap. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I think you missed the time. Just want to point out that I have 6 o'clock on my calendar. Can you confirm that it's at 6, not at 7?
It is at 6.
Thank you.
The special meeting.
That's correct, on next Thursday.
Yep.
December 9th at 6 o'clock, City Council meeting in City Council chambers.
In Council Chambers, 6 p.m., December 9th. All right, communications from city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a request from the Wicked Running Club to hold a road race, the Wicked Frosty 4, and the use of city streets on January 1st, 2022.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that it be granted by roll call vote.
Councilor McCarthy move that this be granted by roll call vote. And discussion.
Briefly, anybody who wants to get up on January 1st at 8 o'clock in the morning and run a road race on New Year's Day, good luck to them. I've volunteered at this race before. The Wicked Running Club is a great group, and we did a water station behind my house one year, and we poured all the waters in the cups, and by the time we were handing them out, we had to crush the cups because they'd iced over on top. So that's the type of, sometimes those are the types of races you get some years. Some years it's like it's a beautiful sunny day, and other races, one year it was snowing. So it's good luck. Good luck. You never know what you're going to get with this race. It's a fun race, and I want to thank the Wicked Running Club and all that they do in the community for the promote running and everything they do at the end when they sponsor their races, and they give out scholarships to kids going to college. So I think they do a wonderful job. So I move that it be granted by roll call vote.
Do you start running at 8 or you wake up at 8?
I don't know when they wake up. So I don't think some of them actually go to bed. I think some of them just right through the New Year's Eve celebrations, in their car at the head of the road race, and someone wakes them up and they start running. I don't know what they're doing.
Any further discussion? Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I think the race starts at either 9 or 10. I've run it a bunch of times in the days, in previous years, and I think something like that, because I don't remember feeling too bad when I woke up to go run the race, so it couldn't have been too early.
Thank you for that clarification.
I felt more bad afterwards.
Seeing none, Madam Speaker, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On granting the petition for the Wicked Frosty 4, we have 11 councilors voting, an affirmative and a negative. The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have the following license applications for a limousine and a list of public guides.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be granted.
Counselor Marcillo move that these be granted. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, the matter carries. Further petitions.
We have the following tag day license for Salem Little League for May 7th, 6/11, and 6/25 of 2022.
Counselor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, and that these licenses be carried forward to 2021.
2022.
2022.
Counselor Marcillo moved that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, and Legal Affairs, and that they be carried forward to 2022. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All those opposed, seeing none, the matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 5 claims.
Counselor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, and that they be carried forward to 2022.
Counselor Marcillo moved that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, and Legal Affairs, and be carried forward to 2022. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. All opposed, the matter carries. And further petitions.
We have 2 signed bonds.
Counselor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Counselor Marcillo moved that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, and Legal Affairs and return approved. All those in favor? See 11 hands. All those opposed, the matter carries. Unfinished business, none. How about that? Anything else? Counselor Terrio and then Counselor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. Point of personal privilege.
Counselor Terrio, request of point of personal privilege. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. When I first started doing this job 10 years ago, I never imagined that I would be sitting in my home office for my last official meeting with my cat on my lap. And it's good to have her here, but doing this, it's been an interesting journey. It's been a fascinating job. It's been a real privilege to be able to do things for the neighborhood and for the city. And although it's going to be kind of neat to finally get back into the room for a while next week, it's still, this is our last official business as a city council. So I just want to say it's been a honor and a privilege to be able to do this for the last decade. We'll all have a chance to say more, but in a week. But just for now, I wanted to express that and thank you all for the people watching, the people commenting, the people complaining, the people I serve with, and the people I've served with in the past. And it's been an amazing experience for the last 10 years. And part of me is going to miss it, and part of me is looking forward to just sitting back and watching TV on Thursday nights. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Flynn.
Point of personal privilege.
Counselor Flynn, point of personal privilege. Seeing no objection.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to have a moment of silence. Recently, we lost a Ward 4 resident, and he was also a former Salem firefighter. His name's Rod Roderick. He passed away so young. There was a celebration of life at the AOH last week, and you could really see how he touched so many lives. Such a special person, lost so young. And like I said, I'd just like to have a moment of silence for him. He served the city proudly, and it's a great loss for all those that knew him. Thank you.
A moment of silence for Mr. Roderick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Seeing none, Councilor Sargent.
Everybody else set with personal privilege? Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to take a slight personal privilege, if you would, to, as you know, I wasn't a fan of Zoom meetings. I'm glad we're back to live meetings after the council order expired yesterday, November 30th. And I know there were some great intentions to get people involved, and especially when we get to the hybrid meeting. But I must at least take note that we could have had a live meeting tonight, and we didn't, so we could get more people involved through Zoom. And with all good intentions, we had 0 people sign up for the public hearing part of the meeting and 0 people for the hearing for the tax rate. So it would have been possible to have the meeting there tonight, but nobody could have known that. But I know there were good intentions, but I'm just glad we're going back to live meetings, and council going forward can have live meetings too. So thank you very much, and I move for adjournment.
Thank you. Counselor Sargent moves for adjournment. All those in favor? I see 11 hands. We are adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.